since then. And his point was that he had a free will to serve God or not. So I was thinking about it as I was preparing this message. I'm a free will Pentecostal. I have the free will to serve him or not. It's kind of like the First Church. Every town has a First Church. You know that? The First PH Church. That's in Kinston. Newberg's got one too, by the way. The First Baptist Church. I tell people we're the First PH Church in Oklahoma. We're the first church on the left after you turn to the left, and the second road after the bridge. So we have a free will to choose what's right, to choose what's wrong, to do what's good, to do what's evil. It's your opportunity to choose, to make those choices. God didn't create us as robots. He didn't program us to do everything that's right. Oh, it would be nice if he had sometimes, wouldn't it? We wouldn't have that war, that battle going on within our spirit, within our soul. But he didn't. When it comes right down to it, it's our choice. We choose to do what's right. We choose to do what's wrong. Just as it's our choice to go to the gym and exercise, whether it's just as it's our choice to bend the elbow, putting the fork in our mouth. It's our choice. And that brings me to this point. It's our choice as to whether we spend more time in God's Word or not. It's our choice whether we come to God's house or not. Once again, you've heard me say it over and over and over. You're going to hear it one more time this morning unless you rush out really quick. People do what they want to do. If you don't want to do something, you'll find a reason, an excuse not to do it. You can't convince yourself that you shouldn't do something, anything. But if you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. So we do what we want to do. I hear people say all the time, well, I wouldn't go to church, but it's just too far. And I always tell them, until you move past the Grange, I don't want to hear it. In fact, there was one of our church members that's not here today that, you got to be careful where you go and what you do, because there's always somebody watching. I found out there's one of our church members here today that was in Kinston, all the way from down here. And maybe that's why they're not here today. Maybe they're wore out from going to Kinston back here. I don't know. But we do what we want to do. We find a way to do it, or we find a reason not to do it. The choice is ours. I've got, Frankie can probably relate to this one. I know an individual who plays golf at least twice a week, sometimes 3. He's retired, as you might imagine. But he makes a statement every now and then. Because I've asked him, I said, well, what the weather bad on the golf course yet? Wait a minute, it doesn't rain on the golf course. Wind don't blow on the golf course, doesn't get cold on the golf course, it doesn't get too hot on the golf course. Weather's always fine on the golf course. You can always go play golf. Is that right, Frankie? No? He's not a true golfer. The point goes right back to what I just told you before. He wants to play golf, so he's going to find an excuse to play golf. Now, if you're not an avid golfer, it's going to be too cold, or it's going to be too windy, or whatever. It's always too cold, or too windy, or too hot, or too something for Ray to play golf. I'm not a golfer, period. But the choice is ours. Have you made the choice? Will you make the choice to pray more? Will you make the choice to read and study your Bible more? When Joshua led the people of Israel to the Promised Land, he made a challenge to them. He offered them a choice. He said, will you follow the false gods of those that are around you, or will you follow the true God? And then he posed this question to them. He said, choose you today whom you will serve. We're a lot like the people of Israel that Joshua challenged, because we're living in a world that is full of false gods. We're living in a world that would offer everything to us to turn us away from serving God. So I present to you the same choice and challenge that Joshua did to the people of Israel. Will you serve whatever is in this world today that's keeping you from serving God the way that God wants you to, and quite honestly, the way that you want to serve Him? Or will you make the choice to serve Him better than you have done in the past? Choose you today whom you will serve. And let me begin by closing. Some of you are so glad. By challenging you to make 2 new commitments for the new year. The first is commit yourself to forget your failures. Commit yourself to forget your failures. The Apostle Paul gave us this advice, again in the letter to the church at Philippi. He says, forgetting what is behind and straining. In other words, putting forth effort, really straining yourself forward to what lies ahead. He says, I press towards the goal for which God has called me towards heaven in Christ Jesus. I'm pressing, I'm striving, I'm putting forth the effort towards the goal that God has set for me in heaven. That advice has stood the test of time for years and years and years. What God is trying to say through that is that you don't have to live your life being burdened down and being imprisoned by your past failures. All of us have failed in some way, shape, form, or fashion this past year. We'll just stop there. We've all done it. What God would have us to understand is that we must not allow ourselves to be bogged down by our past failures. We don't have to dwell on our past so that it stops us from moving forward to the future that God wants us to have. If we stay hung up on the mistakes that we made and the failures that we made, we're never going to get to where God wants us to be in the future. With God's help, I'm going to forget my past. I'm going to stop torturing myself about what I did or what I didn't do. You know that when we receive the forgiveness of Christ, it allows us to forgive ourselves and our failures. God's forgotten our failures. He's forgiven us of them. And if He can, then we ought to do the same. The second challenge is we need to commit ourselves to give up our grudges. Colossians 3:13, bear with each other and forgive each other whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. These words are challenging us directly and personally to give up any grudges that we might hold. What is a grudge? An unforgiving spirit that leads to unforgiving attitudes and unforgiving actions. If you hold on to the attitude long enough, it's going to lead to actions. Grudges destroys marriages, grudges break up family, grudges ruins friendship, grudges splits churches. And as Sister Dean makes her way to the gallon, let me remind you that the grudges that you may hold are not only just destructive, they're self-destructive. Amen. When you hold a grudge against someone, you hurt yourself as much and sometimes more than the person you're holding the grudge against. True. I have seen instances where people would hold a grudge against someone and the person they were holding a grudge against didn't even know it. So the person holding the grudge was the one that was being defeated and run down and being served worse than the one who they were holding a grudge against. Frankie may be sitting here this morning, and I'm not trying to single him out. I could pick anybody in here. I love Frankie. He knows he's my buddy. But Frankie may not like me. I hope he does, but he might not like me. He may go home sometime and tell Sheila what a sorry, rotten, no good fellow I am.
I don't know whether he does that or not, but that's just it. I don't know it. He said, don't bother me. But if he was doing that, it's bothering him. Ron don't know that I go home and tell Scarlett every Sunday how lazy and sorry and no good he is. Do you? I'm being, by the way. See my point? It's not only destructive, it's self-destructive. Will this new year be just another calendar-changing event for you? Or will it be a life-changing event for you? Are you willing to take on the challenges of God, rise up to those challenges, and make those commitments for a life-changing experience? I don't know whether any of you picked up on it or not. The last two things, the last two words that I used here on those two items was commitment rather than resolution. So there's a difference between a resolution and a commitment. People make New Year's resolutions. Maybe that's why they don't keep them, because the resolution is a commitment. The dictionary says that a resolution is the act of resolving, which means to deal with successfully or to reach a firm decision. You've reached a decision. Well, the definition of commitment is this.